You may have arms and legs, but the real question is, are you using them to build the life you were meant to live? Because having the tools is not the same as using them with purpose. Every day, millions of people wake up with strength in their bodies, vision in their minds, and opportunity in front of them. Yet they live like prisoners of fear, doubt, and comfort. Your arms were not given to you to sit still. Your legs were not given to you to stand in the same place forever. They were given to you to move, to fight, to build, and to rise. But time is moving fast. While you hesitate, someone else is taking action. While you doubt, someone else is chasing the dream you abandoned. And the truth is this: one day there will come a moment when you will ask yourself a painful question. Did I truly use the strength I was given, or did I waste it? Today is your answer. Because if you have arms and legs, you already have more power than you think. Now the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? Power is not something most men lack. It's something many forget they already carry. Every man who wakes up with arms to build and legs to move holds a natural advantage, the ability to act. Yet somewhere along the way, many begin to believe they are powerless. They wait for permission, for perfect timing, for someone to tell them they are ready. But power was never meant to be given by the world. It was meant to be used the moment you realize it already belongs to you. Men often underestimate what their presence and action mean, not only to themselves, but to the people around them. From a man's perspective, the pressure can feel heavy. The responsibility to provide, to lead, to stand strong when life pushes back. But from a woman's perspective, that strength is not measured by perfection or control. It's measured by movement. A man who stands up when things are hard, who keeps walking even when the road is uncertain, communicates something powerful without saying a word. Strength becomes real the moment a man chooses action over hesitation. Arms build, protect, and create. Legs move a man forward when fear tries to freeze him in place. The difference between a man who feels lost and a man who becomes a force in his own life is rarely talent or luck. It is the moment he remembers that the power to move, to try, and to rise has been within him the entire time. Excuses rarely appear as weakness. They usually disguise themselves as logic. A man will say the timing isn't right, the opportunity isn't clear, the risk is too high. It sounds reasonable, even responsible. But beneath those explanations is often a quiet fear of stepping forward. When a man has arms to build and legs to move, yet chooses to stay still, the limitation is no longer physical. The limitation becomes the story he tells himself about why he cannot begin. Men experience a deep psychological tension between potential and expectation. They know they are capable of more, yet the fear of failing publicly can feel heavier than the desire to try. So, excuses become a shield. From a man's perspective, it protects pride. From a woman's perspective, it often looks like hesitation where courage should be. What many women admire is not flawless success, but visible effort, the willingness to take responsibility and move despite uncertainty. Action has a way of dissolving the excuses that once seemed so convincing. The moment a man decides to move, the reasons for staying still begin to lose their power. Arms start creating. Legs start advancing. Confidence begins to grow not from promises, but from proof. And the identity of a man shifts the moment he stops explaining why something cannot happen and starts showing what he is willing to do. Movement begins long before confidence arrives. Many men wait to feel ready before they take the first step, believing certainty must come before action. But the truth of progress is simpler and more uncomfortable. Clarity is created by motion. When a man uses his arms to build and his legs to move forward, even in small ways, something powerful starts to happen inside his mind. Doubt begins to lose its authority because action starts providing evidence that he is capable. Men are wired to respond to progress. From a man's perspective, movement creates a sense of control over life. Each step forward sends a signal to the brain that effort matters and direction exists. From a woman's perspective, that same movement communicates determination. It shows that a man is not trapped by hesitation or waiting for perfect conditions. A man in motion becomes someone who is shaping his world rather than reacting to it. Momentum grows quietly but powerfully once movement begins. The first step may feel small, even insignificant, but it breaks the illusion of being stuck. Arms that create begin to build confidence. Legs that move begin to discover opportunity. What once felt impossible starts to feel reachable, and the identity of a man slowly shifts from someone searching for direction into someone who naturally generates it through consistent action. Comfort rarely feels dangerous in the moment. It feels safe, predictable, even deserved after long days and hard effort. A man tells himself he will start tomorrow, push harder next week, chase the bigger vision when the timing feels right. But the quiet trap of comfort is that it slowly replaces urgency with routine. When a man has arms that can build and legs that can move, but chooses the easier path again and again, the dream does not disappear overnight. It fades quietly in the background of an easy life. Men often battle an invisible conflict between growth and security. From a man's perspective, comfort can feel like stability, like he is protecting what he already has. Yet deep down, there is a restless voice that knows more is possible. From a woman's perspective, the difference is often clear. Comfort can look like a man settling below his potential, choosing familiarity over courage. What many women admire is not endless risk, but the willingness to stretch beyond convenience and pursue something meaningful. Growth demands discomfort because movement always challenges the limits of who a man currently is. Arms that build must sometimes carry heavy responsibility. Legs that move must sometimes walk into uncertainty. The moment comfort becomes the priority, progress begins to slow, and the man who once had the power to rise starts standing still inside a life that feels easier but smaller. Struggle is often misunderstood as a sign that something is wrong. Many men grow up believing that strength means having everything under control, never showing pressure, never revealing the weight they carry. When challenges appear, the instinct is to hide them or escape them. Yet struggle is rarely evidence of weakness. It is evidence that a man is attempting something meaningful, something that demands more from him than comfort ever will. Men experience struggle as a test of identity. From a man's perspective, every obstacle can feel like a challenge to his competence, his role, and his ability to provide or lead. It presses against pride and forces him to confront his limits. But this pressure is also what sharpens him. Arms that build strength do so by lifting weight, not avoiding it. Legs that carry a man forward grow stronger by walking difficult roads, not smooth ones. Women often interpret struggle differently than men expect. From a woman's perspective, struggle is not automatically a flaw in a man's character. What often matters more is how he responds to it. A man who faces difficulty with persistence communicates resilience. A man who continues moving despite uncertainty demonstrates courage that cannot be faked. Pressure shapes character in ways comfort never can. Every challenge forces a man to adapt, to think deeper, to grow beyond the version of himself that existed before the struggle began. What once felt like resistance slowly becomes preparation. And the obstacles that once seemed like barriers begin transforming into the very conditions that build a man capable of more responsibility, more discipline, and more purpose. Everything in a man's life begins to shift. the moment he makes a real decision. Not a quiet thought in the back of his mind, not a temporary burst of motivation, but a clear commitment that he will move forward with the strength he already has. A man may have arms capable of building and legs capable of moving, yet nothing changes until he decides to use them with intention. The difference between drifting through life and shaping it often comes down to a single moment when hesitation is replaced by responsibility. Men often underestimate the psychological weight of decision. From a man's perspective, choosing a path means accepting risk, pressure, and the possibility of failure. Many delay that moment because staying undecided feels safer. But indecision slowly drains confidence because the mind begins to doubt its own ability to lead. The moment a man decides, truly decides, his mind shifts from avoidance to focus. Energy that once fueled doubt begins fueling direction. Women often sense this shift long before a man explains it. From a woman's perspective, a man who makes decisions communicates stability and clarity. It shows that he is willing to take ownership of his life instead of waiting for circumstances to guide him. Does not mean perfection or control over every outcome. It means movement guided by purpose, even when the road ahead is uncertain. Action grows naturally from a firm decision. Arms that once rested begin creating. Legs that once hesitated begin moving toward opportunity. A man who decides stops negotiating with excuses and starts responding to possibility. His presence changes because intention replaces hesitation, and the energy around him begins to reflect the direction he has chosen to pursue.